Hello and welcome, my name is Carynx and this is Dark Souls 3. But before I'm going to begin, since this is the first video on this channel, I should probably introduce myself. Right, I'm not new to YouTube. I did have a channel at one point in the past which, like this one, was gaming oriented. What I wish to be doing with this channel in particular is to also bring light to some lesser known indie games. Well, Dark Souls 3 not really being the example there. I guess what my formula is going to be is that I will be jumping back and forth between more modern games, like Dark Souls 3 for instance, and, well, in between mix it up with smaller, lesser known games. The kind that people possibly don't know as much about. At any rate, don't want to take up too much time, so regarding Dark Souls 3, it is not a blind playthrough. I have played through all of the Souls games, with the exception of the second one a few times by now. So this is going to be a 100% run basically. I want to get all the items, resolve all the NPC storylines. I just realized that means I'm probably going to have to get New Game Plus 3 or something of the sort, aren't I? Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Probably not going to be doing that in one go. At any rate, let's start a new game and get to the opening cinematic. I have already configured my controls and
indeed.
I'm going to shut up for a moment.
It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
that opening cinematic sends shivers down my spine every time I see it. Might also have something to do with the fact that it seems to be completely ignoring the volume settings. Yeah, before I get to character creation, just a few notes about this playthrough. I'm going to try to keep every video around the 45-minute mark, except for the first one. I'm going to get through the entire Cemetery of Ash Filing Shrine area up to entering the first proper area of the game. However long that might take. Playing on PC, of course, as you can see with PvP Watchdog enabled in the top left corner. And I'm playing with an Xbox One controller. That's everything. Right, I'm not going to spend particularly long on character creation. I can tell you right off the bat that we are going to be taking the loony route of starting with the deprived. Naked and of unknown origin, either an unfathomable fool in life, or was stripped of possessions upon burial. Probably the latter. I do have a rather peculiar quality build-esque theory craft in mind. I'm not sure how it's going to work out in reality, but we will see. Anyway, I'll choose the fire gem as the starting item, because I like having a fire weapon available for the first 2 areas of the game. A lot of enemies there that will be stunned by fire damage. Yes, I'm gonna spend 2 minutes on dealing with this, but not too long. Can be young, of course. Voice can also be young, just like my very self. Yes, let's go standard. I'm going to give him a bit more chest and this stuff. Maybe make the head a little bit larger as well. And there we go. Doesn't look too horrible, I suppose. Curious question though. What good does the little rope do wrapped around the legs? Because if you look at the front of the legs, it looks like they have their own ties to keep them at your waist. Is that like the tool belt? It might as well be. It's an interesting design decision in any case. Yes, skin color. I'm going for this preset and then modify it a little bit. That's a bit too much, isn't it? Good enough, I guess. Yes, sure. Whatever. It looks a bit Erythilian. Ashen, perhaps. Yes, face details. A few more changes to make. Namely about the hair. Going to make this a bit darker, but not too much darker. I'm gonna try to make the character look somewhat like myself. And the brow can stay as it is. There we go. Eyes. Yeah, that looks good. Well, we're almost done here already. Just a few minor cosmetic changes still. For one, on the bit more color on the lips. That's fine, not too much color. And face shape, I believe, yes. The cheeks are a bit too rotund for now, I guess, so. Yes, I want the face to be a bit more sunken in. And of course the nose. It's the nostrils mostly that should be changing. Yeah, that's good. don't think I'll be making any further modifications beyond that point. It looks close enough to myself. Except my skin isn't quite as ashen and I have a bit longer hair than that. But it's not like the game has the exact haircut available. What a shame. Now then, finalize. Yeah, good shout, I didn't enter name yet, did I? Nor did I think about what I should be calling myself. In that case, how about we just go with Carynx. Nice and easy. Okay to start game with this character, and in we go. So yeah, like I said before I started the opening cinematic, I intend this to be a 100% playthrough. All the bosses, all the NPC quest lines, and of course I'm gonna be reading item descriptions and the like as well. Because one of the things I do care about when it comes to games is the lore, the narrative at the heart of it all. Mixed in with some more competitive behavior at times, which I guess makes Dark Souls 3 the perfect game to start. Looks pretty badass. So do you see that vein on the right arm? Oh, that does not look healthy. But then again, we are undead. We need to be healthy. Right. Just gonna take a look at a few things. We have our starting items in here, of course. Wooden club, plank shield, and our trusty loincloth. I think I'll hold off on reading the item descriptions until I get to Firelink Shrine though, just to keep things moving to begin with. Graphics wise, I am running a bit of an old machine. I have to upgrade that at one point in the future. So as you might be able to tell, I have cranked down the reflection settings and texture quality a little bit. Still looks pretty good, but it is what it is. Do kinda need to be able to play. It might still be a little bit stuttery at the start here. For some reason the 70th Ash always is slightly laggy for me. This very first portion here. I'm not exactly sure why. And the Ashen Estus Flask. Thank you kindly. Corpse that looks suspiciously like Oscar of Astora. Let's go up this way around first. Yeah, pairing, it's not something we're gonna try doing with this particular shield. Can only shield bash. That's not exactly good for much, is it? Except if you wanted to break someone's guard. Not that matters though, because I won't be holding onto this weapon and shield for long. Won't even have it anymore by the time we get into the high wall. Okay then, time to fight the ferocious, ravenous crystal lizard. Except they're kind of surprisingly easy enemies. At least when they're alone. I do like all of the blood and the moisture effects on the character though, that looks good. Right. Gonna be two-handing of course. Get a berserk weapon nut in and off we go. I suppose that's what I get for talking shit. I was supposed to dodge roll instead of getting a third attack in. Well, the fault and the jokes are mine on that one. Alright, serious mode, how about that? Losing face to that enemy. No thank you. Please die. Please die. Oh, hello. Tim being a sneaky sniper. Right, don't be greedy, a number one lesson about Dark Souls, and I feel it immediately. Oh, don't be greedy and mind the stamina management, that too. Not too worried about those souls. I'll get them after the fight is over. One, two... Into the wall you go. One, two... Oh, it's sneaky. Fortunate to stagger very easily. Come on. Oh yeah, that one. And time to finish this. There we go. Fool me once. Right. I do like the basic weapon out of the club though. That is one of the more useful weapon outs on the starting weapons. Oh, aside from the knight perhaps. Personally, I feel like the knight really is the most beginner-friendly starting class you could pick. Strong armor, but you're not fat rolling, you have 100% blocking shield. And you start with the longsword, which is one of the most ubiquitous weapons in the game. Can we just admire this view for a moment? You know, I'm concurrently also doing a playthrough of the Dark Souls Remastered again, together with some friends. When you come out of the Undead Asylum and you see the mountain ranges and what have you, all the way back in 2013 when I first played through the PTDE version, it's really amazing to look at to me, and to see the progress FromSoft has made in terms of their graphics quality. This game is a piece of art to look at. Also, bonfire. I'm very happy, but I won't be resting here. Playing it risky. Right, in DS3 you can charge up your R2 attacks. Another little addition that I'm quite fond of. Aside from the introduction of a weapon out. Oh, I wanted a backstab. But thank you for your fading soul. What a generous donation. Right, I do need the fire bombs down here though. These are going to be very useful for that little 4-man out group after the first boss. easy way to take out the marksmen with the crossbow. And sometimes if you catch them in the lucky spot, you can also get rid of the shield guy that way. Titanite shard. Right, well, I am gonna heal up and get my magic sorted out before we get into the boss fight. Eodex Scandia. Tutorial boss, so there's not much to say about it. If you have a shield that can actually parry, it's pretty easy to parry and riposte, which is a quick way to take care of him. Other than that, if you want to play it safe, like with the deprived and our lack of armor, I find the best way to beat him is to just stay at a distance in phase 1 and get him to do one of his 2 jumping attacks, which you can dodge diagonally forward like this, and you won't be hit, be able to get 2 hits in pretty easily. In general, we want to try to play someone aggressively to get him to stagger quickly. And well, second phase isn't too difficult, just stay behind him and watch out for the jumping attack really. We're going to berserk up before we pull the coiled sword out. And go get some damage in right away. And get at a distance. There we go. That kind of sucks. Him transforming at range. But we made it. Okay, jumping attack. Just a life. What? How? Come on, die. How did that heavy attack not hit? Oh well. He is not alive. That deadpan character expression as I was doing that. Bonfire lit. I like this design for first boss though. It has all the usual beginner traps in it as well. Aggressive moveset to force you not to turtle up all too much. You can fall off the side here. Second phase and what have you. And I suppose it's one of the few bosses that I'm actually good at beating, which is not something I should be saying, because it does not bode well for the remainder of the playthrough, does it? It's definitely going to face you can just fall off. Thank you. It's definitely going to face some unique challenges in the sense that most of the time I played through this I was using more of a magic oriented build or more turtle-esque tank build. It's kind of a first for me to go all out into a proper quality build. So I guess we'll see how that is going to turn out. Yeah. Please die. And please die. and die. And that's how you do it. Starting to get back into the groove of things. Right, before we enter filing trim proper though, we should take a look around the outside over here and get ourselves a few items of Wolf. Yeah, Sword Master up ahead. I do want him, but I'm not going to be fighting him head on. I'm reckless, not stupid. Well aware of my shortcomings in that I'm not going to be able to beat him head on. Some people just like to kick him off the cliff, but I cannot properly pull off the... Come on now. There we go. Can't pull off a kick to save my life. Right, anyway, I'm going to grab the remaining Homeward Bones over here. Homeward Bone. And the rest of them on the roof, I suppose. And down here we go for the Ember. Right, let's see if we can get up his bum. Perfect. Oh, I love how far they get propelled. They have negative poise. Right, and here we are. Filing Shrine on the hub zone of DS3. The 5 thrones looking at us in an all-imposing manner. Right, let's go take a moment to read the item descriptions then, shall we? Because we've got quite a few things in here, starting with the Estus Flask. The undead treasure is dull green flasks, filled with esters, bonfires and drink to restore HP. The journey of an undead has always traced the bonfires, and no journey of import has been made without an Estus Flask. Yeah, that's certainly true, isn't it? Be it Dark Souls 1, 2, this one. Unless you're planning on doing a no-hit speedrun, you're gonna be pretty much screwed without this flask. And the new addition with this game, and the Ashen Estus Flask. Quite befitting of an unkindled, an Ashen Estus Flask turns a bonfire's heat cold. And restores your focus. I guess you're operating by the logic of stick your head into a bucket of ice water to get the focus back. And Embers. This game's a version of humanity. No one kindled can ever truly claim the embers that burn within a champion's bosom, which is precisely what makes the yearning for warmth so keen. Gain the strength of flame and increase the max HP until death. With the strength of fire, the summoning sounds of unkindled become visible, and seekers of embers can be summoned to join in Sharlakur operation. But beware. The embers may also attract invaders. Right, I think the HP bonus you get from being embered is like 20% of your max HP, or 30. Don't rightly know. In any case, we've got the fire bombs. Something I find interesting here is that these projectiles actually have stat scaling. It's a curious thing. Anyway, bisque urn filled with black powder. Explodes, inflicting fire damage. Fire damage, which differs from physical damage, is highly effective against creatures of flesh, beasts, and other foes that might naturally have cause to fear the flame. Yeah, these are gonna be very useful in beating some very special mobs in the High Wall of Lothric. In general, I find early on in the game there's a lot of enemies that really don't like fire damage. And of course, the Homeward Bone makes its return as well. Bone fragment reduced to white ash. Return to last bonfire used for resting, or to the shrine bonfire. I do like that addition as well. Bonfires are sustained by bones of the undead. In rare cases, the previous owner's strong urge to seek bonfires enchants the bones of his homeward instinct. And we've got the Dark Sign, of course, which is like an infinite Homeward Bone. Except it takes all of your souls. The dark sign is the sign of an accursed undead. The dark sign returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, or the bonfire at Firelink Shrine, but at the cost of all souls held. And I've actually experimented with this, but it does beg the question for me, if I were to use this while embered, would I also lose my embered status effect? I know the souls disappear for good, no bloodstain or anything, they literally just disappear into the void. At any case, at any rate, carriers of the dark sign are reborn after death, and eventually lose their minds, turning hollow. And so it is they're driven from their homelands. Right, various souls. Let the Firekeeper transform the sovereignless soul into a source of strength. For to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Tasty. Then the black separation crystal, wrapped in a very tender cloth by the looks of it. See, it looks all silky and smooth. A charm of farewell granted to banished undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes, or you back to yours. Beware fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. Yeah. And the Way of White Circlet, which is this game's version of the Undead Bone, or whatever it's called in the second game. Restore the connection to other worlds, and those who engage in unjust deeds when in contact with other worlds will lose the connection to them. Way of White Circlet assumes that sin is their own, but are found few and far between. Acting without honor will never be without a risk. So basically, if you use the black crystal a lot to leave games, you crash your game client a lot of times, you may eventually be penalized in terms of being able to do co-op. Not as in a soft ban, that's something else. And you can basically use this item to alleviate this situation. You can only have one in the game, even though it says number held 1 out of 99. When you have used it up, a new one will eventually spawn back at the start of the game. Yes, we have a Titanite Shard. Reinforced weapon to +3. That's something I'm gonna have to get used to for DSR again, that the weapons go to +15. Titan Shard for weapon reinforcement. Titanite Shards are fragments of the legendary slabs. Titanite is etched into weapons to reinforce. Then we've got the Titanite Scales, which are for boss transfused weapons. As it says, weapons forged by soul transposition can only be reinforced by Titanite of the same kind. In rare cases, crystal lizards devour souls, grow into monstrous proportion, and leave in these great scales. I do think the upgrade system was improved a lot since the first game, because you don't need half a dozen different types of Titanite just to upgrade your various types of ascended weapons. You can just infuse as you go, and reinforcement is kept as an entirely separate system. Gem of infused Titanite, found in rare cases inside demons. Used in infusion to create fire weapons. Fire weapons inflict fire damage but lose scaling effects, which makes them perfect early on, where we don't have a lot of strength and dexterity for scaling to matter. And of course the Coiled Sword, which we got from Eudex Scandia. Frost Enshrined Bonfire to activate the bonfire warp. Sword missing from the Shrine Bonfire. Cannot be equipped as a weapon, yet. Thrust into the Shrine Bonfire to restore its power and enable travel between bonfires. This sword is only bequeathed to Chosen Ash, as charged by the Eudex, who awaits the arrival of Ash as a scabbard. Broken Straight Sword. Feel like that's a callback to the first game as well. I decided to put that there. It's a similar weapon that you'd start the first game with. Straight Sword with a broken blade. A weapon with no exceptional qualities. Only a mad hollow would choose to fight with this. Skill, Stance. When stance, use normal attack to break a foe's guard from below and strong attack to slash upwards with a forward lunge. Only neither move will appear very impressive with a broken sword. Yeah, and they also can't repair these as far as I know. Curious item. And our simple wooden club, characterized by savage leaping attacks. This crude bladeless strike weapon is effective against most foes, and can break the guard of a shield. Also very effective against Void of the Boreal Valley. Warcry. Let out a spirited warcry that temporarily boosts attack and enables a special consecutive strong attack. Not really my favorite weapon though. And of course our ever humiliating plank shield. Makeshift shield coupled together from wooden planks. And provides mineral protection at the cost of moderate humiliation. But does have a shield bash for a medium shield, which is interesting, as usually that skill is reserved for great shields. Without lowering your guard, strike the enemy with the shield to knock them back or stagger them. It works while equipped in either hand. And we've got the east-west shield, a wooden shield decorated with the ancient symbol of the two-headed eagle. Close to a small shield in size, wooden shields are light, manageable, and offer relatively high magic absorption. And of course you can parry with that. Significantly better than what we have now, so we'll be switching to that momentarily. And last but not least we have a trusty loincloth, which provides a surprising amount of elemental resistance actually. And has very good curse resistance. I wonder what the idea behind that is. Terribly worn waistcloth. Deprived, only managed to rummage just enough cloth to protect their vital parts. Yeah, the vital parts. Right, enough of the reading. Let's go and deal with the rest of Firelink Shrine. There's still quite a few things to look at here. First thing I should be visiting is the Shrine Handmaid. Yes, I have no more of this stuff left. Well, won't be doing any combat for a bit, so it's fine.
A pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveller. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont, no?
That's the signature DS laugh. The chair does not look comfortable. Aside from the fact that it has the padding on it, your legs are also not able to reach the ground. I would not approve of this kind of chair. Not at all. Let's talk.
Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
You know, I'm not gonna question how this works from a real standpoint. How bring on the ambulance of her fallen on death to her makes her have new items.
Knowest thou of that soppy gossip? That cordial intrusion layeth the path to Embers. And so thou art in need of a soapstone, Ashen One. Then thy pockets will overflow with souls to trade to me.
Yeah, co-op. Not a thing. A thing that I will actually be doing. I don't want it to take precedence over the playthrough itself, so what I am probably going to end up doing is I'll be doing a round of co-op when we first get to a new area, and then perhaps again after we have cleared the area ourselves. Keep it nice and simple that way. but I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of co-op experience in between. So yeah, I'm gonna buy the White Sand Soapstone, be summoned to another world as a phantom through your sign, and defeat the area boss to gain strength of flame. The nature of Lothric is murky and clear. The White Sand Soapstone allows Enkindle to assist one another. And so I'm going to buy it. Along with this, the Dried Finger should only be used with the greatest of caution. Use to strengthen connection to the worlds, allowing the summoning of a third phantom, but also a second dark spirit. Also makes the summoning of a dark spirit occur earlier. Use of caution. Yes, usually, at least outside of the 2 PvP hubs of the game, when you get invaded and defeated by the invader, you have a 15 or 20 minute cooldown before you can get invaded again. To balance the scales, I suppose. And using this will eliminate the cooldown for the time being. I'm just gonna buy myself some of these prism stones. A warm pebble emitting a beautiful phasing aura of 7 colors, with a very rare 8. The prism stone does nothing special, but can serve as a path marker, and perhaps drop off a cliff to judge height by the sound of its descent. If a loud noise is heard upon its landing, then a fall from the ledge is surely lethal. Right, and one other thing I want to buy is the Soul Arrow Sorcery. Like I said, quality build, so we're of course not going to go very deeply into magic. Rather, we'll be using Pyromancy down the line. But I do like using this method of cheesing the Swordmaster. So I'm going to buy myself a Soul Arrow and a Sorcerer's Staff. A common catalyst given to sorcerers of the Vinham Dragon School. Equip a catalyst to use sorceries. They must be tuned at the bonfire first. And Steady Chant. Boost the strength of sorceries for a very short period, and works well equipped in either hand. Yes, I think it buffs the damage by like 10% or so. Either way, the only thing I still need to buy outside of that is you. A short sword. Nice and simple. Small straight sword excelling in thrusting attacks. The short sword is a light and easily wielded straight sword due to its minimal attribute requirements. And it has the stuns weapon out as well. Yeah, I want one of those things. And believe that is everything I want for now. Yes, I do believe so.
Ashen One, be sure to bring more souls.
I will. Not to worry, I will. But first, let's go speak to our buddy Andre. Hey, play a message. Man ahead. Not just any man, the man ahead. Andre.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust. A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith. Such is my purpose.
Alright, but first things first, we're gonna exhaust this dialogue, as usual.
Weapons and protection are sturdy enough by and large, but when overused, they'll eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would.
Yeah, they basically imported the builder system from Dark Souls 2. Not sure which one of them I prefer, to be honest, but it works.
There are 2 ways to smith weapons. Simple reinforcement is one, and infusion the other. Reinforcement is straightforward. It strengthens a weapon without altering its property. Infusion is a more advanced form of smithing that infuses an element. Reinforcement requires titanite, and infusion requires gems. Bring the stones, and I'll do the smithing. It's my purpose, after all. In battle, your weapons are your only friends. Forge them well, and they won't let you down.
Now imagine explaining all of that to an Ooga Booga man with a club standing in front of you. Yeah, that's in the case what I explained earlier. Mentioned at least. They changed the weapon upgrade system in a good way. Because reinforcing and infusing them is now two separate systems instead of being dependent on one another. But you can't upgrade armor anymore, which initially I was a bit about that, but now that I'm back in DSR I have to say it's a good thing. Because I'm rather getting tired already of being invaded in the early game areas of people using completely maxed out plus 10 armor. It's lovely, I tell you.
Another matter. Infusing weapons with gems requires a special kind of coal. My humble coals won't be any use infusing more unusual gems. I know, it's an awful shame, but it's all I have. Oh, please don't give me that look. Believe it or not, I'm quite thin-skinned.
I've got to laugh under spirit.
Oh, by the way, if you find any Estus shards, bring them here. They can be used to reinforce either of your Estus flasks. Without those flasks, you'd want for life or focus. And they'll always stay with you. Why not treat them well? Huh?
Jokes aside, he does have a point. Yeah, once again a system that took over from the second game. Which is a good thing, I suppose. The kindling system from the first game is a bit strange in retrospect.
Weapons, but when you...
Yes, that is the entirety of his dialogue. I do want some infusion done on my short sword real quick. Rendering it a fire short sword. Introduces its base damage a bit, removes the scaling, but also gives the sizable bunch of fire damage, which is what I want. And we'll leave again for now.
Pretty be careful. I don't want to see my work squandered.
Right, we're not done here yet though. There's still more to see in the Firelink Shrine. There are more things to take care of anyway. First things first, I should deposit a cool sword in here though, because I need to tune the soul arrow. Right, rest at the bonfire we shall. And I'm going to tune myself my soul arrow. That's all I need really. Could do with swapping my weapons around right away though. Gonna use the short sword, which also is a bit light, I just noticed. Marginally. But a turn you are heavier. Still, it's an improvement. Quite a notable improvement. And the sorcerer stuff can come over this way. That's all for now, I believe. Yes, that is all for now. We still have to speak to Hawkwood over here though, so let's go take care of that.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death.
Indeed.
Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions.
Conniptions.
Have us seek the lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we are talking true legends with the metal to loot the fire. Not fit to lick their boots.
Or fit to have conniptions though.
Don't you think?
And how cynical this guy is compared to the last two iterations.
What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true legends, those who would link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
And look at how sad he looks.
What a sick... talking.
What weapon is it that he has on anyway? It's not a claymore, I don't think. But it's not one of the Pharaoh greatswords either. Not sure, but it's some kind of greatsword at any case. Oh, it could be a bastard sword, I suppose. I haven't really seen yet what the bastard sword looks like in this game. I don't stab him in the back. It's mean. Anyway, up this way we go. That's where I want to be going. Here we've got the Tree of a Giant, another returning thing from the second game. But they greatly nerfed the way the seeds work. Either way they'll be useful to have. But really what I came here to do is the tree jump. Because of course I don't have the soul, so other means to open this thing. Here he goes. Well. And about shot as much over the goal as it could have. Close, but not quite. That's my fault. There we go. 4th time's the charm. Home with the bone. Also, just see my legs glitch into the... That's a thing. Oh, look at Loughra Castle in the background. I like this as well, right above us we can already see the Grand Tower of the Archives. And Prince Loughra is housed inside of. But it's odd that from down here we can't see the butterflies surrounding the tower. Well, at any rate. Let's go and kill that crystal lizard real quick so it doesn't decide to run off with the titanite shard. Twinkling titanite shard. Really? That's what I thought. Now then, for this next bit I'm gonna get my Sorcerer's Catalyst out and we are going to simply snipe the Sword Master from all the way up here. There he is. Wrong one. This won't take long. Yes. Spells take stamina in this game again. $53 to what? 63? I think that would be 20% then, if my math is correct. Stamina, come on. And that's that done. I'll come back down to get the loot off of him in a moment. But prefer not to have to make the jump back up here again, so... Oh, you gave me back my magic flask. Nice. I prefer not to make the jump up here again, so... I'm gonna deal with the crow and the Estus shard in here next. So either we have a new invisible crow trader, or an invisible crow trader with multiple personality disorder. Either way, I have a few trades I can make with this one already. Large Titanite shard, together with the one that you can get from chasing off the wyvern in the high wall that... and allows us to get a +4 weapon pretty early on in the game. And the homeward bone, that's the last one. Very nice. And of course I want this item over here as well. An Estus shard. Gonna take a look at the remaining new item descriptions. It's the wrong way to go. Once we're back down from these rafters. Yes indeed. Spooky wall. Right above Lothric's throne. And here we go, covered the silver serpent ring, which I will immediately equip. Yeah, this is Lothric's throne right here. Cleverly hidden treasure. Oh yeah, and we could be speaking to you as well.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Lutleth of Corlan. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look.
I like the massive crown he has on his head. Also, it seems as though half his body is burnt off.
Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be licked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus.
And so the story comes full circle, doesn't it?
Treat the Firekeeper not with discourtesy. She is much like thee, prisoners both, kept to link the fire.
Not if you find another way, it won't be. Lutleth of Corland. Seem to recall someone mentioning at one point that Corland is a place that existed in reality, but has since changed its name. Anyway, I'm going to use what souls I have here. That's 50 souls. Give me 400 out of you, and another 800 from the big one, I believe. It is something. But before I go any further, I should also have Andre upgrade my Estus flask. Could do with a second charge in the blue department.
Ah, well, Matt. 'Tis good to see ye in good health. What needs smithing this day?
My flask. Reinforce. And I'm going to allot it so that I have 2 of you. Mainly so I can keep using my weapon out, and so I have at least 1 refill and co-op.
Prithee, be careful. I don't want to see my work squandered.
Yeah, because how Estus flasks work in co-op, is that phantoms have half their normal amount rounded down. So my 3 normal flasks get cut in half, which gives you 1.5 of course, it's possible, so I can turn it down to 1. Or if you have all 15 into healing flasks, it gets cut into 7 as well. Right, well, speaking of the Firekeeper then. Hello. I like that you react to emotes.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
Anything else to say?
Ashen one, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen one, bring me souls plucked from their vessels.
Yeah, the Firekeeper does not have a lot of diverse dialogue.
Ashen one, sovereign, I will show Ashen one.
But we can level up at her, which is what I intend to do now.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Right, how far can I go for now? Level 6. It's not super far. Guess you can get my vigor up a few points and put 1 into endurance, and then I'm just... Oh, look how close I will be back momentarily.
Farewell, Ashen one. May the flames guide thee.
They shall, for now.
Ah, how
Surely I have something that I don't need that desperately. And welcome to have my broken club, since I will get another one soon anyway. There, take it. Let it be another level up for me.
Ashen one, be sure to bring more souls.
Yeah,
Ashen one, produce the coiled sword at the bonfire.
I've already done that.
The mark of ash will guide thee to the land of the lords.
So Lothric.
Lothric, where the homes of the lords converge.
Right, but I want to level up. Level up. How about this for now? Yeah, so how I'm going to be handling level ups is that I'll try to stay somewhere within the co-op range for every area, which means we're gonna go to level 20 in the High Wall of Lothric. I expect my vigor is gonna go up to 16 and turns to 14 for now, and I'll see if I'll maybe put some points into strength, dexterity and vitality to begin with as well. But this is good enough for a start.
Farewell, Ashen one. May the flames guide.
Now all I'm still missing is my armor. And for that we have to venture back outside and go to where we killed the Swordmaster. I need at least some stylish armor, yeah. Good shout, mate. The bloodstains sure don't give it away. There we go. The Uchigatana and the Master's Attire, which I'm going to equip right away. Doesn't give me a lot of defense for its roof, but still. Just missing something in my head slot now, really. As far as I know, every slot where you don't have an armor piece equipped also increases all of your damage you take by 10%. So just the fact that I don't have a helmet on makes me take more damage. Aside from the fact that I'm lacking the defense points a helmet would have. If you get my meaning. But yeah, I guess we are pretty much done here, aren't we? Which means I'm going to take one more moment to read the item descriptions of the new things we have. And then we head on off to the High Wall of Lothric. More like I will be ending this video. And then we do so next time around. I have a large Titan chart now, which makes the weapons go to +6. The Uchi Katana is a new addition. A unique katana characterized by the fine craftsmanship of an eastern land where it was forged. The finely sharpened blade gets flesh like butter and the course bleeding, and it breaks easily as a result. Skill, hold. Assume a holding stance to rapidly execute a lunging slash for normal attack, or a deflecting parry with strong attack. Yeah, the parry timing on katanas is interesting. And they're pretty much the weakest durability weapons in the game. And I usually recommend carrying some repair powder along with it. We have the Master's Attire. Once again, insane curse resistance on that thing. A terribly worn shirt. Men are fond of weaving tales to expand the raggedness of their garb. My sixth sense warned me of danger, and danced between flurries of blades. Unscathed, but alas my clothes so went to tatters. Yeah, but at least we're not naked and freezing. Just freezing now, really. And the iron bracelets. Durable iron bracelets protecting the wearer's wrists. Said to be the bracelets of a Knight of Sunlight from a previous age. Solare's gloves, yeah. It's no particular powers, but of fine quality and evidently well taken care of. It's pretty much the entire plotline around Solare, isn't it? It was powerful, but it's all his own skill. This armor was just bog standard plate, nothing special at all. Anyhow, we still have to cover the silver serpent ring here. A silver ring depicting a snake that could have been, but never was, a dragon. Fallen foes yield more souls. Snakes are known as creatures of great avarice, devouring prey even larger than themselves by swallowing them whole. If one's shackles are cause for discontent, perhaps it's time for some old-fashioned greed. The boost of souls you get from killing stuff for 20%. Definitely a useful addition early on. Anyway, before I rest at the bonfire again, just one small change to make here. I would like to get all of my important items onto the tool belt. And also you. I can replace the point that since I never use it with the call over. And I will never use the jump. I'm gonna replace that with the rest. And so it is that we depart Firelink Shrine and for the High Wall of Lothric. So yeah, at this rate, at this point, thanks so much for watching up until now. I'm going to leave in this episode here, and like I said at the start, going forward I will be keeping this episodes around the 45-minute mark. I'm pretty sure this one turned out to be a little bit over an hour. In any case, I will see you next time around in the High Wall of Lothric.